working in data has taught me anything, it's how to fail. Because you do it a lot. Hi everyone, my name is Dean and I'm the CEO of KADA, a data startup based in Sydney. We build K, a data knowledge platform for organizations to understand, govern, and scale how their data products are used. It's part data discovery, observability, and knowledge management. And it's the next evolution in data catalog and governance tools. In our journey, we've analyzed thousands of data products and found that 95% of them fail. That's right, 95%. Most data products, whether it's a dashboard, a model, an app, or an API, barely get used, and they die out within days to weeks. It's really sad to think about all the effort that goes into building a data product, the pipelines, the engineering effort, to see it all go to waste. And it's not just a once-off cost either. When it makes it to production, you may end up having to support it despite the fact that it's dead. It reminds me of this one story where we worked all night fixing this failed ETL job that was loading this app. And when we told the business the next day that it was all fixed, they said, "Thanks, but we haven't used it in months. In fact, we weren't planning on using it at all." It was one of those truly head-shaking moments. The good news is that there are data products that do deliver value over a long period of time. And when we take a deeper look into these products, they have a number of characteristics that make them successful. The first characteristic is that successful data products are ones that are really well known. In data, we spend a lot of time designing and building products, but not a lot of time in promoting them or selling them. Data ecosystems can be really complex, and it's hard to get people to pay attention to the latest and greatest data product that you launch. It's why there are so many duplicates of this and that. I remember when we were decommissioning a data warehouse that we had found all these users that were using these really old data sets that had been replaced ages ago. And when we asked them why they hadn't migrated across, they said that no one had told them. They had no idea they'd been replaced. And this is pretty common in a complex data ecosystem where data products can literally die because users don't even know about them. They don't even know they exist. The second characteristic is that successful data products are ones that are trusted. They almost become famous, part of the business. People just know that if you're trying to solve this problem, you need this data product. Trust, unfortunately, is not something that is easy to engineer into a data product. It's developed by your users, and they take different signals to determine their level of trust. It can be social signals like who uses it, how frequently, for what use case, to technical signals like freshness and lineage. Data products that are unsuccessful are ones where users don't trust them. They don't trust them over other data products, maybe even ones that they create themselves. The third characteristic is that successful data products are ones that people know how to use. It's either really easy to pick up, or the knowledge is easy to consume and build over time. It can take the form of comments in code to API specs, data dictionaries, or training guides. Successful products are ones that tend to have their knowledge constantly being updated, while dead products are ones where there is stale knowledge or no knowledge at all. These three elements were, among a few others, the key differences to the success and longevity of many data products we assessed. It was also the three that was not usually included in the way that data products are built. But we need to. And it's important as data engineers, data analysts, data managers that we think about the way that users will learn about, have trust, and learn how to use our products. So I want to share 5 practices today that you can use to help build awareness, build trust, and build knowledge. They are building an audience, defining the purpose, scaling knowledge, getting feedback, and tracking metrics. And as I talk about these practices, I'm going to show you a little bit how we solve this in our own product. But I do want to say you don't need to use our product to do this. Implement these practices however you can, and it'll make a big difference to the longevity and success of your data products. The first practice is building your audience. Define who needs to know about your data product and how you are going to engage them. When you launch your data product, don't just publish it. Throw it out into the ether and hope for the best. You need to engage, sell, and remind users that your product exists and it's here to solve their problem. The way we do this in K is to use a recommendation engine to push product news like launches and changes to people that need to know. Kind of like a Twitter feed for data. Our engine tracks what people use and follow so that news and reminders are relevant and timely. And if you want to do this manually, I would start with curating distribution lists based on domains or topics and using that to drive engagement. And I think this is why some data catalogs have failed in the past, because they've been based around search, which means your users need to sort of know your product exists in order to find it. But that's not true in most cases. Users don't necessarily know, and so you have to take on the job of pushing that to them. The second practice is defining the purpose and making sure that your users know what your product can be used for. It's really surprising to see how poorly defined so many data products are in the organization. Why was it built? Who should use it? What for? It may be that it was defined early in the life of the product, but it very quickly evolves over time. And that's where a lot of users lose trust in the data product. It's when they try to use it and it doesn't work. And it's not because the product is wrong, it's because the use case they tried to use it for is not what it was built for. So define these boundaries of your data product. It will also address issues like data leakage or unnecessary data exposure. In K, what we do is we label all of our data products, whether it's a dashboard, a report, an API, with what their verified use case is for. And it even influences our trust score, which helps to drive users to products that can be trusted for a specific purpose. The third practice is scaling knowledge. Knowledge is something that needs to be kept up to date and it needs to be accessible. There is knowledge that you can automatically capture, like who uses it, to what does it join to how it's created, and how others have used it. And then there's knowledge that you have to curate, like context that people can add. It might be business logic that you add to your code, or descriptions that you might add to your data, or you might pull in from your DBT models, or answers that you give to your frequently asked questions. Whatever that knowledge may be, I'd recommend that you keep it in a single place that can be linked to your data product. This makes it easy to find, easy to manage, and easier to automate as much as you can. You need to reduce the friction between your users and your knowledge base so that they can learn how to use your product as quickly as possible. The fourth practice is to get regular feedback. If you haven't heard it from a product manager yet, then feedback is one of the most important things that you can use to help make your product successful. So many products we have seen get launched and you never get feedback for them. Feedback gives you a chance to save a dead product. It also can make your successful products more successful over time. In K, we use feedback loops to capture sentiment at the time of usage. We also use feedback loops to close knowledge and governance gaps as well. Feedback is one of the most critical steps that you can take, that you can use to make your product successful. The fifth and final practice is tracking metrics. Every data product needs to have a metric that you can use to tell whether or not it's going well or it's going poorly. It may be a simple metric like weekly active users or total usage over a month, or however many decisions were made off this data set. They don't have to be complicated. At a minimum, I recommend tracking usage because data that's not being used is not generating any value. Imagine a churn report being used by the retention team to call customers every day. That's a really valuable product. But if we see a drop-off in usage, it gives us a signal that maybe users don't trust this data for a particular reason, or they've stopped using it. So that's 5 practices you can use to make your data products more successful. Building an audience, defining the purpose, scaling knowledge, getting feedback, and tracking metrics. Our customers and partners who have adopted these practices are seeing their data products grow faster and with greater user satisfaction and trust. And that's the message I want to leave you with today. The value of your data product is proportional to the shared awareness, trust, and knowledge you can build around it. I hope that you take some of these ideas on board, and I'd love to hear how you go. Please reach out to share your thoughts, and if you want to learn more about our product. Thanks for listening, and stay safe.